Well then, are you ready for an adventure? I've fished in some of the most remote, wild and challenging places on this planet, but let me tell you, there's a special kind of magic in finding a brilliant fishing spot right on your doorstep. Today, we're talking about Sandown, a real gem tucked away on the beautiful Isle of Wight. This isn't just any old seaside town, it's a place where memories are made, where the thrill of the catch is accessible to absolutely everyone, from the seasoned angler to the youngster just starting out. It's got that classic British seaside charm, a massive sandy bay, and most importantly, some fantastic fishing opportunities that promise a proper good day out. Sandown is nestled perfectly on the southeast coast of the island. It sits cosily between its equally lovely neighbours, Shanklin and Yaverland. This location makes it part of a glorious, sweeping bay that looks out onto the English Channel. Getting to the prime fishing spots is as easy as a stroll along the prom. The main access is right from the high street, which leads you directly down to the seafront. It's all right there, waiting for you. The smell of the salt, the sound of the gulls, and the promise of a tight line. There's a real sense of community and history here. Right, let's get the practical bits sorted so you can focus on the fishing. There's nothing worse than arriving at a new venue, buzzing with excitement, only to spend the next hour driving around looking for a place to park your motor. A good day's fishing starts with a stress-free arrival, and thankfully Sandown makes it pretty straightforward for us. The town is well signposted, so whether you're coming over on the ferry or you're already on the island, finding your way to the seafront is a doddle. The main roads lead you right into the heart of the action, which is exactly where we want to be, with rods and tackle at the ready. Once you're in Sandown, you've got a couple of great options for parking. If the pier is your target, or you just want to be in the thick of it, there's plenty of on-street parking available all the way along the seafront. You can find spaces running from the base of the pier right down the esplanade towards the War Memorial. These spots are brilliant because you're literally just a few steps from the beach. You can unload your gear, grab your rods, and be casting out into the surf in no time at all. Just be sure to check the signs for any time limits or charges, especially during the busy summer months. If you're looking for a slightly quieter spot, then I'd suggest heading a little further down towards the Yaverland end of the bay. Now let's talk about the star of the show, Sandown Pier. Piers are incredible structures for anglers. They are like giant fishing platforms stretching you out over the waves and giving you access to deeper water and different ground than you could ever reach from the shore. Sandown Pier is a classic example, a grand old structure that's brimming with life above the water and below the water. Fishing from here is a completely different experience to being on the beach. You're elevated, you can see more, and you're dropping your baits right on top of fish using the pier's legs for cover and food. It's a fantastic place to fish. Before you get too excited and rush down with your rod, you need to know the score. The pier isn't open for fishing 24/7. Its fishing season generally runs through the spring months and the autumn months. It does tend to close to anglers over the winter, so always check ahead if you're planning a trip during the colder season. The opening hours for fishing are tied to the main arcade on the pier. Basically, if the arcade is open, you can go fishing. This usually means it closes around 10 p.m, so it's perfect for a long day or evening session, but not for all-night fishing. Getting permission to fish couldn't be simpler. There's no complicated online booking system or need to join a club. All you have to do is head onto the pier and find the fairground booth. It's usually pretty easy to spot amongst all the games and attractions. Pop over to the booth, have a friendly chat, and they will sort you out with a fishing permit for the day. It's a small price to pay, and it helps with the upkeep of the pier. Once you've got your permit, you can make your way to the end of the pier and find your spot. You'll be fishing into relatively clean, sandy ground. Alright, this is the exciting part. What can you actually expect to pull out of the water at Sandown? The brilliant thing is the sheer variety of species on offer. It's a real mixed bag. Pier or beach, you never know what you'll get. The list of potential catches is long and impressive. Let's start with the pier. Deeper water and varied ground. From here the possibilities open up. Expect fantastic flatfish, plaice dabs, Dover sole, especially into the evening, but that's just the start. The pier is famous for summer species, mackerel, garfish, beautiful gurnards, colourful wrasse around the pier legs, exotic triggerfish in warmer years. It's a real lucky dip. Then the big guns. The pier produces seriously impressive fish. Rays are common, smooth hounds, thornbacks, and the biggest prize, bass. The island's record bass was caught right from this pier. Knowing a fish like that could be beneath your feet gets your heart pounding. Never underestimate the potential here, a place where dreams can come true. Having the right gear and bait can be the difference between a blank day and a brilliant one. The good news is you don't need anything too specialist for Sandown. The ground here is wonderfully forgiving, perfect for beginners, and means you're not going to be losing tackle all day long. The seabed across the vast majority of the bay is mainly sand. This clean ground makes it ideal for standard beach casting gear. There are some patches of rock and clay gullies dotted about. These are features to be explored rather than feared. When it comes to bait, the best advice is to keep it simple and stick to the classics. For Sandown, that means two main categories: fishy baits, worm baits. You simply cannot go wrong with these. A lovely oily mackerel fillet, a strip of bluey bass rays. Sand eels are another fantastic choice, flatfish, bigger bass. On the worm bait front, you can't beat lugworm, ragworm, dab, sole, school bass, whiting. A combination of both is your best bet. Your tackle should match your target species and your chosen spot. If you're on the beach, a standard 12 to 13 foot beach caster paired with a decent reel will allow you to get your bait out to where the fish are feeding. Understanding how the natural world affects the fish is one of the great skills in angling. It's what turns a good angler into a great one. At Sandown, like any coastal venue, the tides and the weather are the two biggest factors that will influence your day's fishing. Tides, weather. The good news is that the entire bay is fishable on all states of the tide, which gives you incredible flexibility. You can fish the tide as it's coming in, known as the flood, or as it's going out. The ebb, both, can be extremely productive as the moving water stirs up food from the seabed and gets the fish actively hunting for a meal. Generally, the periods of greatest tidal movement are the best times to fish. This means the 2 or 3 hours on either side of high tide are often considered the prime window. During this time, the current is at its strongest, creating a dinner bell for species like bass. However, don't discount the low water period. Fishing as the tide begins to push back in can be a brilliant time, especially for flatfish that follow the water's edge as it creeps up the beach. The key is to be observant, watch how the water moves and try to anticipate where the fish will be. Weather plays a huge part too. After a prolonged spell of calm, flat, sunny weather, the fishing can sometimes go a bit quiet. In these conditions, many of the fish tend to move out into deeper, cooler water to find food. You can still catch, of course, but you might have to work a bit harder for a bite. This is when float fishing for mackerel from the pier can be a great tactic. The magic really happens after a bit of a blow. The waves stir up the sandy seabed, dislodging worms, shellfish and sand eels from their homes. This creates a natural food larder, and you can be sure the fish will come storming back into the bay to take advantage of the easy feast. A nice surf running onto the beach is the perfect condition for bass fishing, so don't be put off by a bit of a breeze. Above all else, a fishing trip should be about having a fantastic time and staying safe, especially if you're bringing the family along for the adventure. Sandown is a brilliant place for a family day out. Plenty to do for non-anglers while you get on with the serious business of catching fish. The golden rule, as always, is to respect the sea. It can be unpredictable, so always be aware of your surroundings. Check the tide times before you go so you don't get caught out by a rapidly incoming tide, especially if you've walked a long way down the beach at low water. When you're fishing from the pier, be mindful that it's a shared space. There will be other anglers, tourists and families enjoying the view. Keep your gear tidy and compact to avoid creating a trip hazard. When you cast, always look behind you to make sure the area is clear. The last thing you want is to hook a passerby. It's also a good idea to have a drop net with you. It can be a long way down to the water from the pier deck, and a net is the only safe way to land a decent sized fish without the risk of your line snapping or harming the fish. Safety on the beach is just as important. If you're fishing into the dark, make sure you have a good head torch with a spare set of batteries. Let someone know where you are and what time you expect to be back. The British weather is famously changeable, so pack some waterproofs even if it looks sunny when you set off. A warm drink in a flask is never a bad idea either. These small preparations can make a huge difference to your comfort and safety, allowing you to relax and enjoy your fishing session without any worries.